Welcome to the Daily Current. This is where we go into the daily horoscopes forecast with the tarot for the collective, and we're starting this off with a bang from our first podcast episode on Substack. So if you're interested in more, I'm actually posting this on everywhere as possible on the dashboard. However, if you're interested in Signal Disruption, which is my actual podcast where I expose the hidden truth and agendas, and this is where I just channel and do the astrology with the tarot. So let's dive into it. This moon in Capricorn, Sun in Virgo. Shout out to the Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's a crazy intense time to say the least, but this week, as we're approaching, this is like the very beginner build up of what to come within the week with the lunar eclipse, with the full moon that we're going to experience. That, this is really shifting the gears, okay, to say the least. But today's horoscope, Moon and Cap, it's about that discipline. You know what I'm saying? Capricorn has the blueprint, they're the GOAT. But with this moon in Virgo, I mean, not moon in Virgo, sun in Virgo, you can feel the intensity of wanting to overanalyze and over critique yourself. Rather, that's your emotional aspect, your mental, your spiritual, because the clarity is going to be forced upon the collective. This is an intense time because we have never experienced in our lifetime of Saturn being in Aries. That it was in Pisces, went into Aries, retrograded, you know what I'm saying? Now it's back in Pisces. We have never experienced that where it goes back into a sign, and that was 80 to 100 years ago. So if you're an elderly, you have experienced that feeling, that shift. But if you haven't, you are into a moment of actually facing the music. Rather you're ready for it or not, things that need to go are going to go. And the more that you're open and willing to allow yourself to surrender to that and see and face the music of your hidden, subconscious, repressed energies of what no longer works, what no longer can be ran the same way, to actually let that out of your life. And the more that you cling on to it, the more that you will actually spiral and overanalyze and over critique yourself and really just have a very intense, chaotic, anxiety, fear ridden experience. And the more that you're actually understanding that the subconscious fears, the things that you hide and stuff away and try to put under the rug, the more you're actually facing that and understanding and realizing, hey, this is not working for me, this doesn't serve me. That way you're actually going to be able to actually navigate these intense energies. And this is like the collective feels like it's sliding down the fucking mountain off into a cliff and just, you know what I'm saying? But it's about having that faith, your discipline, your integrity, your dignity of what it is of being activated of your DNA of what you're here to do, your mission, your purpose, and fully embodying that and taking it to the next level is actually being activated more than ever, especially with this build up to the lunar eclipse with the full new moon that we're going to have this week. So this really is today the starting point of what's to come. And the more that you can actually step into balance and actually meditate, go for a walk, try new things, and run things on a different program, a different routine, aka Virgo, it is practice. You're practicing these routines and shifting things into gear. But today can feel like, the discipline, feeling a lot of responsibility, and ask yourself, what is it that you can handle? What is it that you have the ability to take on and take care of and realize, this is what I got to do within my day. I might not get every little thing done, but at least I got these things done. So that's like taking, 5 steps forward, but you didn't really do everything, so it's like 2 setbacks. But hey, those 3 steps forward, those are what matters. You're doing the part, you're doing your part, your role, your responsibility. So don't get too over analytical into things that are no longer serving you, and where you are over compromising yourself. Rather, that's your expression, who you are, who you connect with, your relationships. Things are really coming into a period where you're going to see fallouts occur. Rather, that's the people that you start to see, damn, they really drain you, they make you feel a type of way that actually isn't of love, of abundance, of that heart and soul. That way you're going to see a lot of relationships fall out of play, whether that's your friends, co-workers, the business that you think it is the job that you want. Actually, something actually will show up, but you need to not miss that opportunity. You need to actually see, hey, you know what, this is how I'm feeling about things, and this is where the logic is, and not being too logical or too emotional, but a good in between balance, that you have the facts, you have the receipts, you have the understanding, the emotions are there. Now, what is it that is actually holding you back? Okay. And the clarity is going to really come into things when, you start to kind of just see the writing on the wall after the change is being, occurred. And you're not going to really notice it. But when it happens, it happens. You're going to catch it. You're going to apply that lesson and that understanding of Saturn and Neptune and what it is that, you're not blurring between the lines of what it is that you're actually here to do. And I want to take a little quick note here of using ChatGPT because it also says, with Mercury retrograde on the North Node in Virgo, this is where, sloppy details, things can be sloppy, things can look a little messy, and you could feel like the falsity of truth that is being exposed, which is actually just a propaganda to have you programmed and designed to maintain into a container that actually isn't really well kept, well nurtured, well secure, and that it's not a container that will really take you further. And it's about getting out of those comfort zones that deep down inside you are no longer valuable, no longer serving, and that is actually holding you back from the mission. The mission, the ambition, the love, the creativity, the creative of what it is you're here to do, and the responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? And I also want to note that, this is where things are going to get exposed. Don't overcommit to things out of fear. Don't overcommit to things that, don't actually serve you a value, purpose, and feel connected, like the plug is connected. Things are going to be unplugged a lot, especially with this week. You got to be willing to unplug that. Otherwise, the universe is going to force it, and you're just going to have to process that on your own. You know what I'm saying? But what else did I have here that I want to mention? You know, Focus on something that is sustainable, rather that's your routine, the structure, who you're connecting with, and realizing that everything is being tested by your faith, your value, and how you navigate these intense energies into stepping more into the activated soul that is within you, that is being ignited to step up more than ever now. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to open Astro Gold here on my phone here and see if there's anything else that I want to mention here. Let's see here really quick before I go into the tarot. And honestly, I'm practicing and learning how to read astrology because I've always watched it my whole life. So I think that's honestly all that I have for the daily channeled intuition vibe of what it is that I feel like was needed to be said. So let's just get into the tarot. Let's just see a general collective message that the collective needs to know. We'll do a card or two. Let's see here. Bear with me as I shuffle. That card was screaming to me. Ooh, Ace of Swords. Wow, interesting enough. Have that strength and willpower to actually move forward when it feels like things are really so out of bound and out of the mix to where you feel like there's so much going on that it actually can, by the choice of what you decide, can either fucking liberate the shit out of you and step more into it, that strength and courage to go forward instead of clinging on to the old road, clinging on to the old version of yourself that no longer served you, and that you have to have the strength to actually cut through the bullshit, release and let go of the cord that doesn't serve you any sort of good, anything, any sort of love and light. Top of the deck here. Yeah, King of Pentacles. Really nurturing how you value yourself, how you love yourself, how you take care of yourself. What is it that you're doing and applying within your daily routine, structure, and how you perceive yourself as well. You got to be able to love yourself and appreciate yourself as you are going through these transformations and realizing of the shedding of the snake that, embodying that new skin, that new version of you that you finally carelessly start to present yourself, you know? And this is actually going to make you look more attractive, more appealing, more able to connect with people that actually are here on a similar mission or the journey itself. And the top of the deck, ironically, is the Three of Swords here. So what is heartbreak, whatever it is that you're holding on to, whatever it is that, comes about these intense emotions let them pass. This too shall pass. This moment will pass. It is going to really test your subconscious, your conscious, and your ability to really stand up for what it is that you're here to do and actually shed and release. And I like how I pulled that all as I was kind of channeling the astrology and just kind of not only just reading it from a tarot sense, but more so the flow of the tide that I feel with this message. And you know what? Let's get one more card. I'm going to shuffle 2 more times and get the spiritual advice for the collective. And then we're going to end this off here. It actually came in my hand. Wow, 8 of Wands here. The directions are coming of that love as long as you're willing to really face the music. And things might surprise you. Unexpected things might happen, rather they're for the good or bad. If it's for the bad, it's actually aligning you forward because, like I said, this feels like the collective is sliding off of a fucking slide that sends them off into a cliff, and you have to be able to trust the divine, trust the universe, trust faith within yourself as well, that you will float through the floating. You won't just fucking, off of a cliff go straight to the ground unless you're carrying a lot of baggage, a lot of weight, a lot of grief, a lot of old shit that no longer serves you. Yeah, that will carry the weight down. But somehow, ironically, with the 8 of Wands, that slide off of that cliff can actually be very fun, as well as when you see what needs to go, that you kind of just fly and land on like the little big thing of like a cushion that catches you and you land safely. You know what I'm saying? And that there's directions and momentums that will come from that change and clarity applied as you see the writing on the wall, as you get the ticket and you take that fucking ticket because it's your ticket, it got your name on it, to now move forward. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you for giving me the time of day, especially if you watch through the whole thing, especially if you subscribe on any platform or followed me anywhere, especially where I'm recording this Substack. Everything is linked in the description of this video. If it is on audio, then, I apologize for the visual. If you want the visual, make sure you go check it out. YouTube, Substack, TikTok, all under Signal of Self, and my Instagram is Read Your Vibe. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and that is all I have for you, collective. I hope you have a beautiful one. Stay blessed as always, and let's start the journey, the daily current. This is my journey. Thank you for tuning in. Let's ride the wave together. Have a beautiful one. Stay blessed.